Okay. Hello and welcome back to my Elden Ring Lorethrough series. We're now in part 2. Last night we did some introductions to the game for people who have not really checked out Elden Ring before or don't know everything about it, as well as just kind of collecting various items, getting some quest chains started, and kind of just introducing ourselves to the game, so to speak. Before we go any further, I'm just going to make sure my audio is okay. Perfect. Alright, so let's get started on part 2. So, I think we're going to do Murkwater Catacombs. Just because we're here, and I honestly don't remember what you have to deal with in this one. So we have an enemy drop down from the ceiling there. Now these are the imps of the catacombs. They're essentially animated statues. Now I don't really know exactly who controls the imps actually, or if they were created by the craftsman, I think. But if we, this guy's also just being a complete pain for me. If we pick up any of their items, take a closer look into that. Now we also get a new statue. It's actually a really interesting design. It appears to be kind of almost like a demon-looking character, with kind of like a body of a cat, in a way. Somewhat humanoid hands, though, and it is holding a scepter or a hammer of some sort. It also appears to have a crown around its neck, almost like a collar, and almost 2 large ears, or maybe shirt collars, and behind the other 2 heads there. It's also worth pointing out the left and right head only have 1 horn, with the main head in the middle having 2. So, kind of interesting. We see a few of those here, and we kind of get a better look at this one because it's not so pressed into the wall, and you can see that it does appear to be part of their heads there. Anyway, we have another new material. We have Grave Glovewort. So we will quickly read what that says. Actually, it's a crafting material. There we go. Grave Glovewort, white flower that blooms in catacombs. Each a soundless bell used to summon spirits. Strengthens ashes to +1. The art of strengthening ashes is known as spirit tuning. Only a spirit tuner may perform this deed. So we'll learn more about those as we progress. And it looks like we actually have some more here as well. Same thing, Glovewort 1. And we also get more of these candles that are lit by the white flame. We have some gargoyle or some imp statues on the walls. I don't know if these animate. Oh, sneak attack from behind. I actually completely forgot about that guy. Right, so we got 2 imps there. And those ones do appear to be enemies. The ones on the walls actually have somewhat of a different looking face than the actual enemies in the game. But then we have a cloaked skeleton-like figure, and it looks like a lever as well as a item. It also looks like there's a huge button on the floor, some sort of trap. We'll just lure these guys over here. Or they're just gonna throw knives at the wall. It's cool. Whew. Yeah, I knew there was another one hiding. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh. Whew. Alright, there we go. Now I also messed with the audio settings. It was a little quiet last night. I watched the VOD afterwards, and the audio was a little bit quiet, so hopefully it's better today and I'm not so loud. Now, that root resin we looted off of this dead body here appears to be some sort of priest or maybe even just a noble. And then we get a better look at this guy here. Now, we're not actually entirely sure who this being is. I thought he was the, kind of like the guardian of the dead. But as we progress throughout Elden Ring more and more, you'll start to see that there are a lot of older places that their purposes have, their original purpose anyway, has long since been forgotten. And they're now being used for a different purpose. So there's a lot of old gods, old religions that aren't worshipped anymore, or even held in reverence. That looks like, as you can see, we also have 2 more imps, and I'm just looking around up top for any other ambushes, because they really like to do that to you, the imps. They like to ambush you if you can. Oh, and there was another one behind me, see that? Now, the thing that's building up to at the bottom of my screen, that's actually the blood loss meter. And that's what that button on the floor does. But the blood loss meter, after you fill it up, you will take a really big chunk of extra health, basically. So it functions pretty similar, I think, to Bleed from other games as well. Could be wrong there, but as far as I'm aware, that's how Bleed kind of universally functions. We got some more Glovewort, and then we can enter the door that was opened for us. And it looks like we have a boss encounter. That knife in my back is like very cinematic, I like that. Let's just heal up. And let's do this. I don't remember actually the boss of this area. Grave Warden Duelist. Alright. And then after this, I will read that root resin that we picked up earlier. Ooh. He's actually not hitting as hard as I thought he was gonna hit me. And obviously I know I'm a leveled up character, I'm not a fresh tarnish, as I already mentioned at the beginning of this. But this is playthrough 4, this isn't a modded character or anything like that. And we received Banished Knight and Enval. Tricked me up there for a minute. Alright, so we're gonna read the root resin. Just ignore me looking at everything else momentarily. Because this stuff I apparently forgot to put in my sorting chest. I put everything else away, but apparently not my crafting items. Resin secreted from the roots of the great tree. Can also be found near trees on the surface. Material used in crafting items. The roots of the great tree were once linked to those of the Erd tree, or so they say. And it is for this reason catacombs are built around great tree roots. Now, that description I just read has actually caused a lot of debate in the community as to what the Great Tree actually is. And the reason being is because it states that the Erd Tree used to be connected to the Great Tree. So it kind of implies that the Great Tree and the Erd Tree are separate things in the land between. However, I believe, I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, the current kind of like analysis of that item description is that it's actually a mistranslation, and it's stating that the roots that are in the catacombs used to be connected to the Great Tree, but they no longer are. And as you can see, the roots are actually absorbing the dead. They're actually absorbing the bodies up into the roots. And it's almost like the bodies are reaching up too. like they're wanting this to happen to them. It's very interesting. And if we look here, they're just getting just sucked up into the roots, into these big, kind of almost like organs hanging off the roots at the bottom here. So next we will read Banished Knight Envil. Wherever he is. Where are my summons? There we go. There we go. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Used to summon the spirit of Engvil, the Banished Knight. One of the two knights dubbed the Wings of the Storm. Despite his banishment, he rejected the invitation of the grace-given Lord, instead keeping watch over a masterless castle for many years, gaining renown as a hero of the fringes. So, kind of a little bit to take in there. Dubbed the Wings of the Storm. Despite his banishment, he rejected the invitation of the grace-given Lord. So it seems like he was banished, obviously, in his name title there. However, he was banished by the current ruler and then almost re-invited back by that ruler, but he rejected the invitation instead. And it states that he watched over a masterless castle, which we may actually be going to sooner than later. Now, this is a really convenient thing they added into this game, is this allows you to simply return to the entrance of the dungeon. No more running back. It's really, really nice. And since we are now exploring Limgrave more in its entirety today, since we don't have to go over so much introductory things, I tried to get a particular instance to happen again, but it doesn't seem that this one does repeat itself. And that is the first time we actually meet I can't think of her name right now, but she's a witch, an ice witch, and she actually gives us a very special bell. And if we use that bell, whistle rather, we can summon a mount. Ouch. That was very rude of you, sir. So, Elden Ring is actually the first in the Dark Souls franchise / series, whatever you want to call it, to actually feature mounts, or a mount of any kind for the player to use. And this is Torrent. You might recognize Torrent from the intro cutscene. Torrent is a very, very valuable companion in the game, as well as a way to traverse the land itself. And if we come across a place like this, this is called a spirit well, and by jumping in the spirit well, Torrent can essentially attune himself to the wind and carry himself up, allowing us to perform a very high jump and get to areas we may not be able to originally get to. Now that we're up here and we're out of the ravine, we're actually going to head over to that grace that's right there. It's actually telling us to go there anyways. There's no other indication of grace anywhere else, so that's where we're going to head. We're going to dismount Torrent by simply clicking the crouch button, and we're going to receive this grace. Now, yet another really cool addition to Elden Ring is we have paintings. And if we inspect these paintings, they can give us clues on rare items. Work of a wandering artist. Reminiscence, interesting, of a painting titled Homing Instinct. This painter is said to have captured the landscape seen during the last moments of those welcomed into death's embrace. The soul of the painter and its vestiges of the dead The dead's last moments can be discovered by visiting the location depicted even now. Now that will tie in with other ghosts and things like that, but if you actually look at the painting, I find this one really interesting because it doesn't seem to depict the Erd tree. It depicts a different tree. Now, the reason I say this is because, for one, it's just not the same tree. They're very similar, but as you can tell, they're just not the same tree. And on top of that, anytime the Erd tree is painted, it is extremely vibrant. It's not just dull and gloomy like that. It's extremely golden and bright and shining. That's not this tree in this painting. Well, I personally believe this is a different tree, and not the great tree that was mentioned earlier. Smithing Stone 1, you can read that really quick. But I believe that is actually a different tree that we will basically run into later. Stone used to smith a variety of armaments, a shard found in plenty. Smithing stone is found throughout the lands between, and mining galleries built to excavate it can be found everywhere. That's very true. Okay. One second. Of course, the family is texting me. Okay. Now we're good. We also have some gold-tinged excrement on the ground. So, some golden poop. That also has its uses in this world as well. Someone's excrement that has a gold tinge. Material used for crafting items, often hidden in woods and thickets. Gold-tinged excrement is a highly stable substance. It doesn't dry out, nor does it lose its customary warmth or scent. For better or for worse, it remains as it is. So essentially what that means is this doesn't decompose, it doesn't change, it doesn't shift, it remains the same no matter what happens to it. So gold has a very preserving affinity to it in this game. Things that last forever, eternal things, are typically gold. So you'll kind of see that. I mean, as I've already mentioned, the Erd tree is actually golden, and it's kind of like a everlasting thing. And kind of nicely right now, actually, we have the moon out. And what's really interesting is if you look at the moon in Elden Ring, it's not our moon, but if you look like right there, the center of the screen, it almost looks like there's a rune on the moon, like inscribed into it. And we will kind of get into that more later in another quest line, but kind of just an interesting food for thought for now. Now you may also notice, people who are new to the game, there's a lot of these smaller looking Erd trees dotted around here. We got one there, one right in front of us here, and then this one over here where I actually have a beacon. So, let's see actually, where are we currently right now? We're right here. So let's actually head on over to that. Is that the one I'm looking at right there? It's the one right in front of me. Because I'm trying to decide how much of Limgrave I actually wanted to take a look at. But if we take a look down there, I think we just might have found another NPC. So let's summon Torrent. Even though Torrent is like a ghost, ghosts are different in Elden Ring. They are like physical beings, so to speak. And Torrent can actually die, and he won't be summonable again unless you use some of your healing items on him to actually revive him. Otherwise, he'll sit out until you rest at a grace and revive him, essentially. We're just gonna head on over to this guy who was moving his arms around and maybe talking to somebody. We got some patrols, and actually we have another site of grace. So you know what? We're actually gonna go grab that. The more sites of grace we get to, the more it'll actually progress our story here. So we're just gonna touch this one, and this one, if we rest at it, should trigger something. Or not. Or not, I guess. I thought it was 3 graces, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's more than that. Anyway. There's a particular,
Is anybody there? Someone who might be interested in rescuing the great Kenneth Height, servant to the true order and celebrated repudiator of the false. Oh, Erdtree, grant me succor.
There he is. Good old Kenneth Height.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Now we actually learned some
Someone
pretty
who
cool
might
stuff
be
from
interested
him.
in rescuing the great Kenneth Height, servant to the true order and celebrated repudiator of the false. Oh, you've come to lend me your aid, have you? Well, that's very kind, but no, the help is very much appreciated, even from a tarnished. Despite appearances, nobility is no prerequisite to serving the true order. You might have heard of me, Kenneth Height. Next in line is the rightful ruler of Limgrave, young Tarnished. I would have a boon of you. I want you to take back my fort. It lies to the south, beyond the Mistwood. A knight commander from Stormvale took it. A fool, and plumb mad to boot. Simply obsessed with blood.
Alright. So now we have our 3rd quest that we've received. So Kenneth mentioned a fort to the south. And the only fort I'm seeing is Fort Hate. And obviously he says that his name is Kenneth Hate, so I guess that's his fort. Now, we will go do that for him, since we're needing to actually visit that fort for a particular item we will need later on. So I think that's a great place to, or a good direction to kind of take for this episode. So we'll start there. We're just going to take the road, keep it nice and simple. As I say, then there's just a big troll in front of me. That's just friggin' awesome. Alright. I'm not really down to fight a troll right now, to be completely honest. What we're gonna do though instead is we're gonna come to this ruined church and we're gonna rest at the grace. So this is the 3rd church of America.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the two fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree. Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Alright, so now we've technically received Torrent from Melina. We already had Torrent, but this is what I was trying to get to trigger last night, and I just could not remember how to get it to trigger. This is how it triggers. So now we have finally met Melina, and we've actually met her at a rather cinematic area for her to be. So we're going to talk to her.
Spoken echoes linger here. Words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you.
I'm interested.
Very well. In Marika's own words, my lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die. Well, perhaps that might serve you in lieu of a maiden's guidance.
So, there's a lot to be said about the spoken echoes of Queen Marika, which we will kind of get into more once we actually hear more from Melina on that. There are quite a few different churches of Marika, so as we progress, we'll kind of dive more into that as we go. But if we now leave, Melina will simply evaporate. Now that's very important, but we will deal with that a little bit later on, because now there is another character that we actually need to talk to. So we're not going to rest, we're just going to simply fast travel back. Actually, I might even be wrong. I don't even know if I can actually get this to trigger. And where are we right now? We are on... Right, we're actually... Let's do that. Let's continue our journey. But before we do, let's loot the item that's here, because it's actually very important. These are sacred tears. If we read what they do... Blessings of the Erd Tree worshipped in the churches of all lands. This is but a faint vestige. Increases the potency of a sacred flask's restorative effects. Can be used after resting at a site of grace. During the age of the Erd Tree, these tears were used to spread faith, for theirs was once a certain blessing. Now it's really interesting that they call it it's a sacred tear, and it's a blessing of the Erd Tree, but it doesn't actually say where these come from. And I find it very interesting that we find them at the base of Queen Marika statues in her churches. So, possibly something to draw on there, but again, we will talk about Queen Marika more as we visit her churches. And I must say, being able to ride on horseback is such a blessing in this game compared to the other Souls games. Not that they're really needed. They're all a little bit more confined and kind of more to the point, I guess, so to speak. You don't really need to worry about traveling so much. Now, this is where we're first introduced to the other type of tree that is mentioned in the lore. And if we examine it, we'll get a little hidden path to something cool over that direction, but we're not really going to follow him just yet. The reason I wanted to point this out is because it has yellow fire burning rather than the white fire we've been finding in the catacombs, and as you can see, that's not me. The tree itself is giving off light. It is actually illuminating the area around it. It's not just a vestigial object. It's actually physically there. Even though we can actually just like walk through it. If I could dismount Torrent, I'll show you that. It is a ghost, so to speak. Oh, and we're getting attacked by bats. Hey guys. Good night. Now, I really like the bats in this game because they kind of almost have like a moth or a butterfly pattern on the inside of their wings. Just really cool. Really neat design for a bat. Anyway, back to this guy. Now, it's mentioned in the lore a few times, and we'll find them more in item descriptions, but I believe this is what the game refers to as a lampwood. I don't know what else you would call it. Like it's a lamp essentially, but it's a tree, and there is such a thing as a lampwood in the lore. So again, we'll talk about that more, but I wanted to bring this up because it does seem to have a connection with the dead, which the lampwoods do have. So we're gonna go with that for now. Now there's a bear. This is just a regular bear. There's two types of bears in this game, and one of the bears is just absolutely terrifying to get into a fight with, and is not recommended at all. And if I see that bear, I will not fight it at all. Now here we actually have a like landmark stone. I already have, oh there it is, it's right there. We're gonna ignore that guy. But back there is a landmark stone, and usually those stones would contain fragments of a map. And you probably just heard wolves howling there. And I am actually following this ghost. This is actually the ghost from that lampwood. So he led us here. And why did he do that? Why did he bring me to this bear? I don't want to fight the bear. I don't like these bears at all. I think they're terrible. Okay, well, I kind of want to see what's in here now, but I have a feeling this guy is just gonna murk me. Oh, he is guarding something. Can we sneak past it because he's sleeping, or will I aggro him when I get close? Holy cow, we made it. Alright, we're gonna open up this door now. Oh, there's just a chest in here. Let's see where that... Oh, he brought us to the Axe Talisman. Do I have that? I don't know if that said new. I don't know. I think I want to say I had that already. I don't know for sure, though. I didn't see new. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, don't wake up, please. Okay, awesome. Now, I'm trying to find the wolf. I don't know if I actually have the emo for it or not. It's like a finger snap or something to call the dog over, but I don't think I have that. I don't actually have that emo, do I? Dang, that's too bad. There's some demi-humans over there. I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember where the dog is, where the wolf is. If he's up here or where he's at. Anyway. We're almost at the fort now. Lied the half-wolf. Excuse me? Oh, and there's... See how I mentioned that these birds look like owls sometimes? It's weird. It's like they're owl eagles or something like that. Alright, where are you hiding? Oh. I think that's our man. Sure seems like it. Can't get a proper look at him. I'm pretty sure that's him. I'm trying to get him to howl again. Cause I don't have the emote yet to get him to come down. We'll come back here after. Okay. We're gonna follow this path down. We'll go do the fort. It's not too bad of an encounter. It's mostly those monkeys. And we actually have a ghost that I do actually want to talk to. Alright. Oh, there's a big one. Oh, okay. Let's take this one at a time. And yeah, they are throwing excrement at me as well. Because they're monkeys, of course. Oh, there we go. I love the sprinting attack with this greatsword. It's beautiful. What do you have to say for yourself, hiding over here while your friends were slaughtered? Alright. Now, you may have noticed that red swirl around me. That was actually just us getting some of our chugs back from the drinks that we use. The restorative flasks of Crimson Tears and Cerulean Tears. And if you defeat large mobs like that in the game, you'll actually get some uses back. Alright, so it would seem that someone has taken over the castle, some knight obsessed with blood, and then of course we have, it would appear that the demi-human's mother or queen was taken, and it caused them to get extremely angry. There's a ballista up there, so I think what we're gonna, that's brutal, I think what we're gonna do is just hop on Torrent. Run. There we go. This is not the entrance. Or it's around the corner of. We got some demi-humans fighting some actual human soldiers. And we got human guards on guard. I'm just gonna come over here and we're just gonna observe these guys for a moment. Oh, he's coming right for me, isn't he? Oh, maybe not. So this is our first time running in with one of these guys, but these are called pumpkin heads. And they're very interesting enemies, because we don't really know what they are, other than large humanoid figures in a pumpkin helmet. Some people have mentioned they could be minor trolls. Other people have theorized they could be just really bulky gladiators that are... Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Holy moly there. I don't think you needed to bring out all the moves on me there, my goodness. Lord Sword and Straight Sword. Alright, doesn't look like we're getting attacked, so we can read that. A well-crafted straight sword with an illustrious design, wielded by regulars of a lord's army. Though blackened and damaged by years of use, it appears to have otherwise been kept in a serviceable condition, despite the soldiers having since lost their minds. And it comes equipped with the square off skill. Not too bad of a skill, it's okay. Doesn't really give you much options, though, in my opinion, with a straight sword. We also got some Godric Soldier Greaves. So now we learn who is in control of this castle. And it appears it is under Godric's control. Now walking into here, we see a giant demi-human corpse. This is most likely... Okay, buddy. This is most likely the queen that was talked about, or the mother that was taken from them. And that actually looks like we have some Arteria leaf growing in here as well. So let's go inspect that really quick. Oh, we got some blood rose, actually. We're going to run all the way up to the top of this fort. Deal with this firebomb guy right here. Watch out for that second one up top. And then once we get up here, we're going to be greeted with him. Oh, and he's coming at me. Whoa! No, please don't die. Woo! Woo! Holy crap! Ah, there it is. I was trying to get down there and heal. But the bombas were just too strong for me. And I think it's a good time to take a drink anyway. All right. Now, it shouldn't put us too far back. We should just be at the, yeah, we're at the Church of America. So we'll just hop on Torrent and run all the way back there, because that is probably Torrent's biggest use in this game. Just getting back to where you were when you died. Anyway. Oh, and there's a wild boar right there. That's something I did kind of want to throw out there, because I don't really have really too strict of a pathway that I want to take through this game. But I think what we're going to do is we'll go through Limgrave, and then we're going to head west to Liurnia. Even though we've already been to Caelid, Caelid's kind of a later game area anyways. It's not really meant to be fought or handled early on in the game. You can definitely do it. Like, I could go to Caelid now instead if I wanted to, instead of Limgrave, but it's just not really like the best place to be, especially if you're a newer player. You're probably going to get really frustrated just rushing into Caelid. Now, the cool thing is that we do actually get a indicator of where our all our souls are, because I actually have a lot. Like, I think I had like 1 million or something. I'm just gonna hop off that guy. Whoa, avoid him. And I'm just gonna look for my souls, because I'm not entirely sure where they are. Because unlike Sekiro, if you die in Elden Ring, you lose all your souls. They'll actually fall down there right there. And then if you die again, you will lose them all permanently. They're just gone forever. Yeah, there's this guy. I just really want to make sure I pick those up, because yeah, I had an excessive amount. Alright, so you might have seen that. It was kind of off camera there, but he actually shot a wave of blood at me using his sword. Oh, I'm kind of, there we go. Like, I'm trying to get him to do it. It's a very cool ability. But we actually get his art as well, Bloody Slash, from killing him. So we'll read that really quick. Alright. This Ash of War grants an armament to Blood Affinity in the following skill, Bloody Slash. Blood Oath skill, granted by the Lord of Blood. From a low stance, coat the blade in your own blood to unleash a rending blood slash in a wide arc. Usable on swords, colossal weapons accepted. So, I don't think I'm gonna really try out all the Ashes of War. I'll read about them, and I'll kind of show what they look like and whatnot, but I don't think I'm gonna equip them all and actually do like a whole thing as part of this. There's lots of YouTube videos out there if you want to see what all the Ashes of War do, or specific ones do. I think the wiki actually has GIFs of each Ash of War, so you can actually see them all just right there. Alright, so there's a chest, and we will receive the left half of the Dectus Medallion. And now that we have done that, we are going to clear the fort. Unless the demi-humans are cleaning up and doing that for us already. We should take out this ballista guy, so he stops sniping all the monkeys when they're coming up the hill. Ooh. I don't know if we could actually get a plunging attack on him or not. I also don't think we would survive if we did, so. I also thought there was a way to use these, but I guess I'm wrong. Oh, okay. That was just really rude of you, sir. You didn't need to do that. There is the last jerk, hiding behind all the explosive barrels. I want to get him to, like, hit me with it. Dang it. I was trying to get him to blow up the barrel himself, but he's too skilled for me, apparently. Alright, take that guy out. And, wow, this guy is out to lunge. He's not paying attention at all. My goodness. Alright, kill those guys. There we go, double kill on the rats. Commoner's headband altered. As long as we're not getting assaulted by anything else, we'll take a look at that. A headband with the cloth removed. Standard wear for commoners of the lands between. Only, there are no commoners remaining with their wits about them. Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. That dude had no idea what was going on. And we received the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook number 6. That is one I already have, though, in my possession. So I'm not too worried about that. And it's just going to tell us what other... There's no useful lore to actually discern from that. Okay, so now before we go anywhere else, let's go talk to Kenneth. Yeah, actually, let's go to the Church of Ella and let's go talk to Kale one more time here. Because I would like to see if I can get this particular interaction to load. Or to instance. I don't think... Like, I think it's exclusive to...
This way, Tarnished.
Oh, there it is.
May I have a word?
Excellent. I'll just shut up now.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk I surmise is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent.
I can call the spectral steed.
Ah, as I had hoped. I was entrusted this for thee, by Torrent's former master.
Lone Wolf Ashes.
'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits.
And we also get the bow.
Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree. The spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest. Forgive mine intrusion, Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the Tarnished tire of obeisance to the 2 fingers?
So that's our first encounter with, as she named herself, the witch Renna. Now, I have my own theories of Renna that I'm actually saving for a video eventually at some point. My Dark Souls one is almost complete. I have a very cool theory video in the works, but once that is done, I will then be free to work on my Elden Ring theory on her, which I'll kind of talk about more as we go. So let's quickly talk to Kale.
Wait, weren't you... Well, you're back. Care to buy something?
About the howling in the Mistwood.
The howl of a wolf. In the Mistwood. I suppose he must still be skulking about. I know. Why not meet him for yourself? Next time you hear the wolf's howl, make this signal right under the source. Ah, don't fret. There is nothing to fear. I just have an inkling the two of you might hit it off. Goodbye for now.
Now, did he give me the gesture? Because I don't think he did. Okay, let me just look here really quick. Wait, wave, beckon. Is it the beckon? No, it's not beckon. Buy my sword. Where is it? I'm so confused. Oh, there it is. Finger snap. Jesus. Okay, that's what we needed. So now we can go. We can return to Kenneth, and we can talk to him, explain that we took the fort back. And then we'll make our way back over to the fort and also talk to the wolfman that is howling in the Mistwood. Oh, I also apologize for being rather bland today. I'm pretty tired. I had a late night. Even though I wanted to do this part last night, it just didn't happen. So we're doing part 2 now. And yeah, sorry for my sluggishness as I wake up here.
I've been waiting for you with bated breath. Did you manage to recapture my fort?
I sure did.
Excellent news. Just wonderful. And the knight's dead to boot. Well done, my friend. Well done indeed. I knew I was right to trust you. Now, here's your reward, as promised. Go ahead. It's all yours.
Woo!
Right then. Time for me to head to the fort. I've much to do. First, I'll have to re-establish communication with the demi-humans. What's that look? You don't believe me? Well, under the Earth Tree, commingling with the demi-humans is made possible. Even the vulgar shall not be left behind, under the rule of true order. Which is why I, Kenneth Haight, next in line as the rightful ruler of Limgrave, have sworn to uphold it. Just you watch, my friend. Just you watch.
Alright, so now we're gonna head on over to... Oh, we can just do that? Oh, let's just do that. Let's just go right over to... Go right through the Mistwood instead of around it. Oh. No. You actually didn't see anything. Oh boy, I hate those bears so much. I'll fight one eventually on stream, I promise, but I'm not gonna do it right now. Alright. There he is.
Who goes there? Carly sent you, did he? Ever the bloody busybody. Maybe to him you don't seem so strange. The name's Blythe. I'm looking for a man who goes by Darrowell. He fled somewhere nearby. Or so I've heard. Come tell me if you find him before I do. I can offer you ample reward. Darrowell is nothing but a traitor, and in need of a fitting end to his tale.
Alright, so the Wolfman would like us to go kill someone named Darrowell. Now he's a traitor, you say. Because we have the Forlorn Hound Everjail over here. I think that just might be where we head to next after we return to Fort Hate, of course. I don't even know if it's actually dark right now. Now, something kind of cool here is, now these ones won't. These ones are kind of assholes. They'll attack you regardless. But if you come up to the actual fort, you get all the way up here. Something really cool happens. We're just gonna sheath our sword on our back here. I'll see if he's up here. Maybe we had to rest at a grace first before he shows up. I think we did. That's okay. We'll come back then. What we will do instead is we will go here and we will go head to the Everjail that's on the peninsula. Actually, before we do that, I do want to go I just want to go talk to Kenneth and just get it over with. Because I think he's officially left up there now. No, he's still there. Alright, let's see. Do I actually have to, like, rest at it? Maybe even pass time until morning? Okay. That is something that you'll need to do every once in a while in this game to progress quest lines. It doesn't look like he wants to go anywhere, so whatever. We're just gonna head to the Everjail now. And then before we actually head up to Castle Stormvale, we're actually gonna go south. And I'll explain that more once we reach the Everjail that's up here. Now, you'll always know when you're approaching an Everjail because there's these really interesting enemies found at the Everjail. And they're not really found anywhere else. And they're also never really explained. Got a dead man sitting in a chair. I believe this is one of the painters. Could make sense too, but I mean, he's looking at a beautiful view. Not a bad place to die and have your final moments, I guess. We don't want to jump into the lake. It's quite a ways down the road. Okay. I just wanted to avoid, there's actually a convoy right here that I'm trying to avoid. Yeah. There's a lot of them. We're just going to avoid those guys for now. Oh, someone aggroed on us. That's okay, we'll just follow the road. Oh, there's another horseman. We'll just avoid him. We don't need to tussle, homie. There we go. This is where we're trying to get to. You'll start to see these, like, rock columns. But they're not just rock columns. They're actually living beings. And you can see them kind of... This one seems to be... Oh, there we go. This one's moving around. But they are, for the most part, non-hostile. They won't actually hurt you. But they do have an eyeball. on the one side. Now what's, I mean, equally interesting about these things is if you kill one, you'll see they're just a bunch of rocks. They're not actually even a creature. I mean, they'll disappear after a while because bodies despawn in this game, but they're not actually even a real... They seem to be a construct of some sort, and you can kind of see this one. It's very interesting. Now, these ones are emitting a purple light from their eye, and they're pointing towards the Everjail. So originally I thought that these totems or statues were actually the power source of the Everjail, and if you essentially destroyed them, you would get, what's the word I'm looking for? You get access to it, but you don't actually need to do anything. You can just simply walk up and get rid of it. Yeah, I can't use it online. Now, I was wondering if there was a summon sign or anything nearby, but I don't think there is. So we're just going to get in here and we're just going to deal with this. Enter the Everjail. And you'll notice you actually kind of fall into it and kind of land on this side. Oh, there's a summon sign. Aha, there we go. Alright, we're going to summon Blythe the Half-Wolf. It says summoning cooperator, so he's going to be on our team for this fight. Which, I guess this is Darrowell. I've never actually done this part of Blythe's quest.
Darrowell. Rotting in a cell is no true justice. No. This is where it ends for you.
Okay, let's go. Well, Kale wasn't wrong saying me and Blythe would hit it off, both using huge greatswords. Oh. Damn, I'm gonna let Blythe finish him off, because that was brutal. Ooh. Oh, he got me with that one. Come on, Blythe. I want you to kill him, because he's your beef. There you go. Nice. Alright, Blythe has returned to his world, and yeah, we just get returned as well. We don't have to leave or anything like that. They'll just return us. Alright, now Blythe is outside the jail. Actually, pretty much where Darrowell was. So let's talk to him one more time.
Right. There you are. Had to work for it, but it's done. Don't say I'm not a man of my word. Here's your prize.
Somber Smithing Stone number 2.
Oh yes. I should say, if you venture north to Raya Lucaria and come across a venerable blacksmith who's a little on the large side, tell him I sent you, and he'll be sure to treat you right. I owe you one, I reckon. That's enough chit-chat for now. It's time we parted ways.
So as Blythe stated, if we find ourselves in Raya Lucaria in Liurnia, that we should look for a particular blacksmith who's a little larger than normal. Alright, so now what we're gonna do, just taking a quick look here, there's the bridge. Okay, so we're gonna head down this rock face here, and we're gonna head down towards this very large bridge, exceptionally large bridge. very wide. But this is going to take us to the next area of the game. However, I don't really consider it to be a truly independent area of Limgrave. I mean, it is, but it's not really at the same time, if that makes any sense. It's kind of more just an extension of Limgrave in my mind, but I mean, I think it's pretty much its own area. Jump down there, we go. Torrent has very odd, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Very odd checking in the sense of whether he's gonna die from fall damage or not. Grab this on the way by, a stone sword key. And this part's a little bit of a gauntlet, honestly. Before we get started on that, we have a character sitting on the side of the road.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander. I fear for father's life. The servants are full wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father at the castle? My soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe.
We will deliver the letter for her.
Thank you, dearly. Then please, take this.
Then she gives us the letter.
Deliver it to my father, who remains in the castle, if you please.
I don't think we can read the letter, but let's try. That'd be a key item. There it is. Letter given by Irina, addressed to her father, the commander of Castle Morn. Gorgeously silken handkerchief, lightly stained with blood. Words can be made out within. Now, Irina's a very interesting
He can be
character.
stubborn, but I'm sure he'll come around.
And we will learn more about her as we progress her quest line here. But, actually, I would really like you to listen to her voice one more time before we leave. Really listen to what she sounds like.
Please, if you wouldn't mind, deliver the letter to my father at the castle. He can be stubborn, but I'm sure he'll come around.
Okay, so hopefully you've gotten a good feel of what she sounds like. She's also mentioned that she's had weak sight since birth, has a hard time seeing, and she's essentially been left there to die. But for some reason, her attackers only killed her companions and not her. Now, like I said, it's a bit of a gauntlet to the castle, so I am kind of just riding through here with Torrent, more as a means to save time. Alright. So now that we're here, we'll discover this grace, and then before we go anywhere, there's actually another merchant here. So this is of the same guild as Kale, but this is obviously not Kale, and this is someone wearing black robes.
I am no selling.
And he's not much of a chatterbox either. So he's selling a few new things. He's got the kukri knives, a large knife used for throwing. Its curved blade is sharp enough to slice flesh cleanly. throw at enemies to inflict damage, and build up onset of blood loss. This heavy throwing weapon is unsuitable for swift attacks, but it's able to inflict heavy damage. A large shard, okay. And then he actually sells a stone sword key, so it's a great opportunity to read it. A sword-shaped stone key. Breaks the seal on imp statues, but remains embedded in the statue after use, meaning it can only be used once as an item. He also sells the Bastard Sword, a large sword with a straight blade. This heavy sword is usually wielded with 2 hands, but for those with enough strength, 1 is sufficient. The heavy blade can be swung into multiple foes at once thanks to the broad sweeping attack, making fending off crowds all the easier. As well as the crossbow, not really any distinct lore there. We also have some arrows, nothing really there either. The ballista bolt, which references a hand ballista, we don't have that yet. Then we have the red thorn round shields, this one's new. A small wooden round shield, it is light and easy to handle, but cannot offer the damage negation of a metal shield. Its emblem is an ancient thorn design. Though it isn't much, it boosts fire damage negation. Now this is actually interesting because it does mention an ancient thorn design, and that will become more become more relevant as we continue through. He's also selling the round shield, but it's the same thing. He's also selling a basic iron helmet, selling the scale armor. Again, these are just iron. This is like the iron set, if you will. And basically, there's not really any lore to be discerned here, but now we do have something pretty cool. This is the Crimson Amber Medallion. A medallion with Crimson Amber inlaid. Boosts maximum HP. The Erdtree's old sap becomes amber, treasured as the most precious of jewels in the age of Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. A primordial life energy resides inside. Now it's actually interesting it states the word primordial. Again, there's a lot of terms that we're bringing up that are going to become more important later on, but I think that's our first mention of the word primordial there. And he's also selling the demi-human mob's note, but again, I don't think there's lore here to be had. We'll just see what he has to say. Slay the demi-human mob's leader first, and the rest will lose hope and panic. Ah, good note. A flask of wondrous physics still remains in the Third Church of America, north of the Mistwood. Okay. So technically, by the game, we've acquired the wondrous flask of physics, so now we can read what it does. A relic of the physic chemists, priests of the Erdtree. Harnesses the power of crystal tears, which only form after the passage of many moons. Various special effects are bestowed upon the drinker, depending on the specific mixture of the crystal tears. Rests at a site of grace to replenish. Basins are placed at the feet of minor Erdtrees throughout the lands between in order to collect their crystallized tears. So it's interesting that it says that these are priests of the Erdtree, yet it's the minor Erdtrees that actually produce the crystals. Kind of interesting. I don't really remember that distinction being made originally upon playing this game, but nonetheless an important one. And now we get our first glance at Castle Morn. Now, bit of a spoiler, but there are 2 massive golem archers here that you really can't see because of the fog. They can see you. So I recommend taking this path up here to the right, because it'll allow you to dodge the archer. And then at this rock, time your shot there, so as soon as he shoots, just run towards him. as fast as you can. He takes too long to draw, you can run through his legs, and then you can simply get into the fort. And then we'll rest here to reset his aggro. And there we go. All good to go. So it looks like in here we have what's left of an armory. And it looks like they were actually creating these like dragon cannons. These are kind of like a flamethrower. You can see how there's the pump on the back as well as the fuel intake as well. Pretty cool design, honestly. You don't see it very much. And then we also have this design here. Now, this is also a unique design. It's got the eagle on the front as well as 2 wings coming out the back. And that'll have more relevance as we continue on. It looks like you actually have to take a lift up into the castle. And now we can see who has been attacking the castle. These are the Misbegotten. There's a lot of different lore about them than what is kind of shown in the game, a lot of different theories, but you'll notice they have some very interesting features. So first of all, the ones up front here actually have tiny wings growing out of their lower back near their hips. They also have vestigial arms that don't really do anything. And they also appear to have a lizard tail. As you can see with the main one up there with the axe, he actually has spikes coming off of his tail. But they are vaguely humanoid, as you can see. They have hair on their head, they have a humanoid stance, although they have the extra jointed legs of a bird. They have a pretty humanoid face with, I would say, a man's appearance to some extent. Now, everybody knows how I feel about dogs. You know, in any of these games. They're just the worst enemies ever. Now, there's a bunch of them hidden over here. So if you do decide to fight the huge mob of enemies up on the hill there, make sure you kill the dogs first. Alright. They do seem to be celebrating. There's also a guard up there burning on the pyre. And if we look up top there, we see some soldiers hanging from the rafters, quite a few of them. And we're gonna put this pumpkin head back to sleep. Oh, I love that attack so much. Alright, so he dropped a sanctuary stone. That's not actually our first pickup of a sanctuary stone, but we're gonna read it because it has a very interesting description. A rare piece of stone fragment found near places where ruins have fallen from the sky. Material used for crafting items. It feeds and strengthens the light as it shines. So kind of interesting that they drop them, the sanctuary stones. Considering they are apparently from ruins that have fallen from the sky. Alright, so we're getting one charging us. And you can see they almost have fur on their legs, like pants in a way. They also have these like barnacle growths growing off of them, but as you can see, they are essentially humanoid. As he disappears, they have 2 eyes, a human nose, human-like mouth, even though it's very, very widely stretched out. As you can see, these ones actually have fully grown wings on their back, in addition to the smaller supportive ones. Oh. There we go. Flying enemies in this game really bother me. But anyway. And see, they just disappear so quickly. I was gonna get a better look at his head there, but he vanished. Coming across here, we can acquire some smoldering butterflies, and we will actually be coming back to this momentarily. So we're gonna head on over this way. And here we can see the remainders of some soldiers who are loyal to the fort, still fighting the Misbegotten. We're just gonna run right past them and head up here.
There's a face I've not seen before. I'm Edgar, warden of this castle, as ordained by Lord Godric himself. But you can see how things have turned out. The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said, and true enough, they're foul inside and out. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Morn won't hold much longer. Take this, by way of apology.
Thanks. So we're gonna deliver the letter because this is actually Irina's father.
I see. From Irina. Thank you. I'm in your debt, but I can't leave yet. Even if the castle should fall, as commander, I must remain to ensure the treasured sword of Morn does not fall into the wrong hands. If you see Irina, do tell her that her father will come for her once he's fulfilled his duty.
Alright, so
If you see Irina, her father will come.
we're now gonna head back this way. Who won that fight? Oh, they did. The slaves won the fight. Whoa! Didn't have to come up here with all that nonsense, I don't think. Jeepers creepers, guys. Alright. They also didn't drop... Oh! Maybe I was wrong. Maybe we did get an item from them. Ooh, Lorethrough shield. That's new. Cool. Let's read it. Oh, it's a wooden tower shield. Interesting. Lightweight for a great shield and easy to handle. Commonly used in the Shattering. Great shields boast high damage negation and guard capacity, making enemy attacks easy to repel. Now you'll remember the Shattering is the war that broke out after Marika's son Godwyn was slain in the Night of Black Knives. And after that, she shattered the Elden Ring, and the war that broke out after is essentially what they refer to as the Shattering. So we'll roll down here, touch this grace, and we'll finish cleaning out the castle so that we can return back to Edgar and explain to him what's going on. There's actually a shortcut to this fight, which is just down there. It's weird you can't see him from up here. But anyway, there are some items, but I don't think there's really anything of, like, real value other than just the path itself. So first of all, hop down there. We're gonna run past these guys because they're actually scared of something. They're hiding. I thought they were eating originally, but they're actually covering their heads. Oh, okay, I thought I was gonna fall right through that tree branch. That's okay though. Caught me before I fell down and died. And I must say, I'm so happy Elden Ring adopted the movement from Sekiro. I'm so happy they brought in jumping and just the vertical exploration. Oof. Ooh. That was close. I just about met my end there. Alright, so how we're gonna do this is roll like this, and then roll again. There we go. And now we can basically just drop down and go to the fog gate. So these guys are sleeping. If those rats don't follow me, we can actually get a better look at this sleeping guy here. So you can see their bodies don't appear to be natural. They have like a lot of growths coming off of them. The arms that appear to be new arms and the smaller ones seem to be more like twisted horns growing out of the back of this one. And they have barnacles and just other things growing out of their skin. So in reality, they're not a natural organism. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Now, these are actually spirit jellyfish, which I'll talk more about later on. Oh, we can summon Edgar for this fight? Oh. I had no idea. Cool, let's go, dude. He said he, wouldn't let the sword fall into enemy hands, I guess. So now we have a Leonine Misbegotten. And these guys are quite the swordsmen, honestly. Ooh, and he's strong. Like tanking me. You'll also notice he's got more of a snake tail rather than like a lizard's tail. Oh, there we go. Now we're just ganking him good. There we go. And we've received the grafted blade greatsword from that. I don't think we can talk to Edgar. Nah, he just disappears after that. Somewhat of an anticlimactic fight, but there's a graze, and then I think there's an item on the other side of this massive tombstone. I'm not entirely sure. I might be misremembering things. I think I'm totally misremembering things. That's okay. But it's rather interesting when you look at this massive tombstone here. Because it seems to be much older than the other tombstones that are around it. It doesn't even really have any visible markings on it. So it's kind of up for question what this tombstone represents, but a lot of people have stated that this is actually the original Stormlord. Which we'll talk about more once we get to Stormvale. But let's fast travel now to the beginning of Castle Morn here. The lift, and then we will go talk to we'll go talk to Edgar again. And then after that, we will go talk to Irina because that was her quest anyway to begin with. Technically, this is an entirely optional area. But Irina's quest line is kind of important to the lore. And by kind of, I mean like really important to the lore. So it's kind of important that we do her quest. Now, I'm not going to fight everything. I'm just going to run to the ladder and just climb up it. Kind of like Sekiro too, as long as you aren't in combat, you actually have unlimited stamina in this game. You can just sprint forever. It's really nice. Hold B to climb up the ladder quicker. I don't think these... Oh, they can. Would you look at that? You can use the ladder. Well, only humanoid enemies can do that in this game, so there you go. Jeez. Goodbye, sir. Alright, let's deal with you. I personally think when you bring your sword down for Lion's Claw, it should do damage. Or at least stagger, if they're gonna make the animation so long for it, you know? Alright, I hate these enemies. What, did me stomping the ground bring him down? That was really weird. I hate these enemies though. Flying enemies are like the worst in this game. Goodbye. That was awesome. Very fitting end to him. Okay. And now let's go talk. Oh, I'm gonna get caught on that. Let's go talk to Edgar again.
I'm in your debt for keeping the sword from those fallen creatures. I'm no longer bound by duty. Once I've rescued Irina, I will spend my remaining days with her.
Alright.
Thanks to you, I will be reunited with Irina and devote my remaining days to her. Irina has a gentle nature, though. I only hope it remains intact. Thanks to you, and devote my Irina has a...
Okay, so that's all his dialogue there. Now, pretty happy quest line so far. We got a dad reunited with his daughter, right? But if you're a fan of these games, obviously you know that's not gonna... There's very seldom happy endings in these games. So, we're going to backtrack through the Weeping Peninsula here back to where Irina was. And you'll see these little fragments here that are glowing. If you pick them up, these are ruin fragments. So what's a ruin fragment versus a sanctuary stone, you might be asking? Well, I think a rune fragment is actually an item, if I'm correct. Let's It's what you can actually use to throw on the ground. Oh, it's a glowstone. So where are the ruin fragments then? Am I just... This is why I should have put all my crafting materials into my storage as well and not had them all out here. Oh, where did it go? I'm about to just pull this thing up on the wiki. Like, did I just miss it? It specifically said rune fragment. It didn't say sanctuary stone. It was different. Alright. I'm Googling this because I don't know what the hell it is. Okay, it says it's a crafting item. It looks like a little brown rock. I don't know. I don't know, but for whatever reason, I'm just gonna read it on here. A stone fragment found near places where runes have fallen from the sky. These stone shards are believed to have once been part of a temple in the sky that glow with a faint light from within. So, down here you can't really see anything in the sky. So that's kind of a mystery to us at the current moment of the game. Wrong one. Good night. Alright. So let's go find Irina and talk to her. And hopefully her dad has reached her.
Irina, how could this be? My daughter deserved better. The fault lies with me. I chose duty over my daughter's safety. And that is how fate has answered. I'll find them. The foul wretches responsible for this. I'll hunt them down and exterminate every last one of them. Rest assured, Irina, it will be done. I'll find them.
Okay, so that's the rest of his dialogue there. Now we can also examine Irina. She's dead. Yeah, very much so. Now there's also a weapon here, which it's kind of weird the way it's placed. Like it's just left here on her dead person. It's really interesting the way that works, so to speak. Now where is it? Have I been to the Ailing village before? I don't know if I actually have. And there's also a Kalu church here too. I don't know if I've actually been to the Ailing village before. That could be something for us to explore. And I'm just scrolling around because there's supposed to be another shack nearby. I'm not seeing it though. Trying to remember where it is. But it might actually be further along. It might actually be in another area and I'm just misremembering things. Very possible indeed. Okay, so now that we've done that, I think what we can really do now, because we've done the Everjail, we've been to Fort Hate, we've done the Mistwood, we did the Waypoint runes, did the Dragonburnt runes, haven't done the Limgrave tunnels yet. We should actually go do Box questline for the coastal caves. Let's go do that. Oh. Okay, and what time is it as well? 5:15? Okay, in about 15 minutes here or so, I think I'm gonna end part 1. I do have to, or part 2 rather. I have a couple errands to go run, and then after that, probably have some dinner, take a little break, and then I will be back on tonight, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that will be for part 3. So I think part 3 will be actually taking on Stormvale Castle. It's a little bit more involved than Castle Morn was. There's a little bit more we have to do. So we have to be careful with that. Now there's also a troll here. Trolls seem to kind of just mind their own business as long as you don't engage with them, which is kind of interesting. Now, I mentioned a creature earlier when we were looking at the weird egg things in the Dragon Castle, and this is what I was talking about. This is a land octopus. They're basically just a writhing mass of tentacles and a beak, is really all they are. You can see the beak poking out there, and you can actually see they have a ton of eggs growing all over them as well. There's also a baby one there by its mom. And they're a very interesting, oh Jesus, very interesting creature to be added to this game. Where is the cave? Oh, it's further down. Okay. Also a turtle just chilling on the beach. And we found some demi-humans. So I would say we're in the right spot. This Box, a demi-human, he said that he got kicked out of his cave.
It hurts. Oh, what are you doing here? You must leave this place at once. They'll rush in and beat you to a pulp. You'll end up just like me.
Oh, that's all his dialogue right now. Okay, we're gonna touch this grace. And then Bach, my dear friend, we're a little bit more equipped than you are, chap. Now, I don't know when you actually acquire it in-game, but I am gonna be turning on my lantern. Because it's just, gonna make it a lot easier to see and actually figure out what we're doing. We're pretty much just gonna run straight into that cave there. Get the glowstone. And those guys are down. Picked up some string and some cave moss. So I'll kill these guys, and then we will read what the cave moss is all about. Faintly luminescent moss that grows in dark caves. Material used in crafting items. A fundamental ingredient for medicinal boluses. Or whatever that word really is, because I truly don't know. And then we get a land octopus ovary. Delicious. Puffy, milky white ovary of a land octopus. Land octopuses eat humans in order to bear young. And theirs is the blood that runs through these ovaries. So there you go. Kind of like a mosquito, but way worse. These land octopuses require humans to restore themselves. Now, I've never seen this summon sign before, Old Knight Istvan, but we're gonna summon him. Because why not? I'm playing offline, so I won't have any actual players invading or joining my game, so I figure we might as well use what the game provides us. Alright. Since there's a summon sign, we know there's going to be a boss fight up ahead. And we got the demi-human chief boss fight. Now, and as long as you can do it quick enough, or you can keep the first chief over here, you can actually prevent them from both aggroing on you at once. But it's kind of tricky. Because a lot of the time when that one gets low, you'll actually charge to the back of the castle, or cave rather, where the second chief is hiding. He's right there. Whoa! Istvan busting out the purple magic there. That was pretty cool. Alright, and then by killing those guys, we get the sewing needle. And we will read that really quick. I'm in the wrong one. No, it's a key item. There it is. A large sewing needle curved like a fang. Bach the demi-human's prized possession. So there we go. Now, we're actually not going to take this back, because you may have noticed there's actually a pathway back here. And if you'll remember from last night's episode, in part 1, Ayura, the Bloody Finger Hunter, actually mentioned there being a cave, or sorry, not a cave, a church, on an island off the coast of Limgrave. Glass shard and a rune fragment. Alright, so now you can see we're on the other side of the water. We find ourselves on a little island here. And then we actually have a site of grace up here as well. If we rest at this grace, it'll tell us its name. Church of Dragon Communion. What do you know? So if we come inside the church, the first thing that's really interesting, to me at least, is the dragon statues in the church have all been beheaded. You can actually see their heads on the ground there. There's one dragon statue. Here's another one. This one's arm has also been torn off and is actually down on the ground there in front of it now. You can see the rest of this one as well. So it's really interesting to me that you have these beheaded dragon statues in a Church of Dragon Communion. And then, on top of that, this is actually a dead dragon. This is not a statue. And while that might throw you off at first, as it's clearly in the ground and embedded in the ground and made of rock, well, dragons are actually made of rock in this universe. They're actually more like a golem-like creature in the sense that they're made out of stone. And if you remember from the dragon heart description, it actually states that it is laced with gravelstone. So if we examine the altar, which I would like to mention has our good old lion motif again, we have what looks like burning blood in an altar. And if we examine the altar, we can partake in a ritual of dragon communion. As you can see, we can now acquire new spells called dragon incantations. And these dragon incantations are acquired by spending dragon hearts at the altar. One of the incantations of Dragon Communion transforms caster into a dragon to spew flaming breath. Charging extends the duration. Incantation of those who have hunted dragons and feasted upon their hearts. Theirs is a pure and overwhelming power. Next up we have Dragon Claw. Transforms caster into a dragon to tear through foes with dragon claws. Allows one follow-up attack. And then same thing again, and then we have Dragon Maw. Transforms caster into a dragon to bite enemies before them. So I'm not going to partake in that at the moment because I actually have all of the spells already on this character. So we're just going to leave that altar there for now. And then what we're going to do is we are going to... I don't remember the spirit jellyfish being here before. Now, spirit jellyfish are actually non-hostile, as you can see. As long as you don't aggro them. And you can actually just walk right through them because they're spirits. They're ethereal, so... One of my favorite enemies slash just creatures in the game. And we will learn more about them later on in a quest line. But what we're going to do right now is make... I keep forgetting I don't need to rest at these to travel. I can just open the map. So what we're going to do is we're going to travel here. Church of Kale. And then we're going to make our way to Stormvale Castle. And then once we get to the front gates, we're going to call it for the night. Well, for part 2. Like I said, I'll be back on later tonight in a couple hours to do part 3 as well. Alright. We're going to hop on Torrent, run back this way because Stormvale is over here. And if we zoom in here, we have a pathway this way towards the Gatefront Ruins. And then if we come up this way, we'll get to Storm Gate, which will then allow us to access Stormvale proper. There's also another Everjail up here, but we're actually going to leave that Everjail for, I don't know, should we? Yeah, we're going to leave it for later. I feel going to Stormvale is a much better reveal. All in all. Alright. So we're just going to touch this grace. I'm not going to rest out of. Really no point. And now we get to travel up Stormgate. Now there's a lot of crossbows, there's ballistas. There's also a troll that just jumped down, but we're going to avoid him. And of course, you could fight through this whole area if you really wanted to, but I don't recommend it. Now we're in Stormhill, officially. And we've also picked up our first golden seed. So let's read that. Oh. Oh, that was close. Okay, I definitely heard those guys sneaking up on me. They thought they could pull a fast one. Not today, boys. Soldier cap. There we go. Okay, so now I'll get back to reading this. A golden seed found at the base of an illusory tree. Increases sacred flask's number of uses. I've already maxed mine out, so I'm just collecting these for the fun of it now. When the Elden Ring was shattered, these seeds flew from the Erdtree, scattering across various lands, as if life itself knew that its end had come. It's very interesting. Now, it states that these trees are illusory. They're not real, in that sense. They're illusory. It's also really interesting to me that the golden seed doesn't really look like a seed. It actually looks like a little ball of fire. So, just something to note for now. We're not even going to talk about that crazy wolf ambush because I really never understand why it happens in the first place. They come out of the air. Like, it's so weird. I don't know where they come from, but apparently the wolves in the lands between can fly. Anyway, just get past all these guys. 'Cause like I said, yep, there's that ballista. Oh, we're trapped. Oh, we're stuck. Oh. I don't know what that was. That was a big explosion, though. Okay. Now. This is where things get a little serious in this game. Because we're going to come up to our first real boss fight of this game. And this is also the first time we will meet Rajier on our journey. Rajier is a pretty cool guy. And we're definitely going to do his quest line.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
And now we come face to face with Margit, the Fell Omen. Now, very interesting. You probably already noticed that he looks very similar to the Misbegotten. Especially with the tail that he's got, the horn growths, the barnacles on his face. But I actually find Margit's scorpion tail very interesting.
Thou art of passing skill. warrior blood must truly run thy veins. Tarnished.
Alright, we've made short work of him.
Tarnished, smoldering with thy meager flame. Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter.
Alright. So obviously we made pretty short work of Margit, but he's not that super strong of a boss. He's kind of hard, but most of his difficulty comes from the fact that he's a lot quicker than anything you've fought up until this point. Everything's been pretty clunky. He's very fast. And I don't know why, this is a meme by a lot of people. You can literally see the last sight of Grace. Like, there was one in that tunnel we just rested at. We came in here to fight Margit. He had a Grace, and now there's another Grace right here. I don't know why they thought we needed so many checkpoints here, but they apparently did. So, we finally reached the gates of Castle Stormvale. We're officially here. The main gate. And this is where we're going to end part 2. So, thank you all for checking out the stream. And if you are on YouTube watching these on the videos on demand of the channel, I really appreciate the support. All of the interaction on the channel helps get these out there and helps the channel grow. So I hope to see you all in the next couple hours here, about 3 or so. And yeah, stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.